I think one of the biggest misconceptions about running is that loving running means you eventually need to run a marathon. And honestly, I blame social media for a lot of that. Because the moment someone starts running consistently, the next questions always become, so are you training for a marathon? Like that's somehow the final stage of becoming a real runner. But the more I reflected on my own journey, the more I realized that's not actually true. You don't have to run 42 kilometers to build a meaningful relationship with running. And this is important for me to say because a lot of people secretly want what running gives, but they get intimidated by what they think running's supposed to become. So in this video, I want to dismantle that idea a little bit. I want to talk about why I started running, what actually made me fall in love with it, and what I believe a successful relationship with running looks like. If you're new here, my name is Felix, and I have been running consistently for over 100 weeks now. I've run marathons, I train pretty seriously, but ironically, the marathons is actually not the reason I fell in love with running. I think somewhere along the way, people started associating running with marathons. Like if you are a real runner, you eventually need to race. You need the bib, the medal, the race photos, the pace goals. And don't get me wrong, I understand why. Marathons are inspiring. They're dramatic, they're emotional, they're visible, and social media naturally amplifies that. But what gets lost is most people don't actually fall in love with running because of races. They fall in love with how running makes them feel. And honestly, I didn't even start running because of a marathon. I started running because I was scared about my health. I had a collapsed lung and I've always had weak cardio. And after going through that, I genuinely felt like I need something to protect my lungs better. That was the real reason. Not a race, not performance. I just wanted to feel healthier, to breathe better, to feel more capable physically. And I think that's important to say because that's already a meaningful reason to run. You don't need a bigger reason than that. And the more I research this topic, the more I realize most people who stay consistent with running aren't actually motivated by the races neither. I spent a lot of time reading discussions from regular runners online. The things people talked about most were surprisingly simple. They talked about stress relief, they talked about clearing their head, they talked about how they feel 20 minutes after a run, right? They talked about routine, consistency, fresh air, sunlight, having time alone. Very, very few people were saying running saved my life because I hit a certain pace. Most people state because running slowly become part of their life. And I relate to that deeply because running gave me way more than fitness. It gave me clarity. It gave me structure during chaotic period of my life. It gave me confidence. It improved my breathing. It gave me reasons to explore cities, introduced me to communities, gave me meaningful conversations. And none of those things required a marathon. This is where a lot of beginners accidentally quit. They started running thinking the goal needs to become something huge. And then running slowly become intimidating. It stopped feeling accessible because now every run feels like it needs to lead to a giant accomplishment. But that's not how sustainable running works. A successful run is not always the hardest run. Sometimes a successful run is just the run you actually completed. It can be a relaxed 15-minute jog that keeps your habit alive. It is more valuable long-term than forcing a brutal workout that burns you out. And this took me a while to understand because I used to associate progress with intensity. But consistency is what actually changed your life, not random heroic effort. And this doesn't mean marathons are meaningless to me. They still matters, but for different reasons. Marathons give me direction, they give me lessons, they give me opportunity to redefine what I think is possible. And they're not the foundation of what I run. The foundation is relationship itself. And honestly, if I never ran a marathon ever again, but if I could run consistently for the rest of my life, it would still feel very fulfilled. Because what I'm actually chasing is not the race results. I'm chasing a healthier life, a calmer mind, a stronger body, more self-respect in myself. I'm chasing a relationship with movement that helps me feel more connected to life. And I think that's something a lot more people are secretly looking for, especially now. When so many feel exhausted, disconnected, overstimulated, and mentally drained all the time. Running doesn't solve everything, but it gives you space. And sometimes space is exactly what people need. If you are someone who wants to run consistently, but you feel intimidated because you don't want to become an ultra marathon runner or a race person, I genuinely want you to hear this clearly. You do not need to run a marathon to love running. You don't owe anybody a finish line. You don't owe social media a race medal. And you don't owe Strava crazy mileages. You just owe yourself a relationship with movement that genuinely improves your life. If that's 3 quiet runs a week for the next 20 years for you, that's beautiful. So the real question is not how far should I run, but what kind of relationship running would actually make my life better. And I think everybody's answer will look a little bit different. So I actually love to hear from you. What's running mean to you right now? And do you feel social media make you believe running had to become something bigger than what you actually wanted? Let me know in the comments. My name is Felix, just figuring things out one run at a time. I'll see you on the next one.